Black joy is not a trend, it's not an aesthetic, it's not a feel good moment the world gets to consume when it's convenient. Black joy is a strategy. Black joy is survival. Black joy is revolutionary. Welcome back to the Christian J Show. Today we're talking about the kind of joy that doesn't just feel good, it frees you. Let's start here. Black joy was never supposed to exist in the first place. When you look at our history, the trauma, the violence, and everything, joy should have been impossible. But somehow we created it anyway. We created joy in the cracks, in the corners, in the places where nobody expected anything to grow. Our joy is proof that we're still here, still breathing, still choosing ourselves. And that alone, right there, is revolutionary. When you think about black people and when you think about everything that we have been through, most people would think, why are y'all celebrating everything? Like, why are y'all happy? And my thing is, sometimes being happy, it outweighs the bad moments. You ever heard the saying, laugh to keep from crying? That's what I think about when our joy. Well, sometimes we don't want to think about all the stuff that we have been through. We want to think about the good times. We want to think about the things that make us laugh. And you know me, I love to laugh. Anybody that knows me knows I will laugh in a minute. I can laugh at a joke that was told 2 weeks ago. I would still be laughing at it. But it's the thing that we are, as black people, we still have joy throughout all the bad things, throughout everything. We find joy in things people that other people wouldn't even understand. And people don't talk about this enough. Joy is rebellion because when the world expects you to be angry, broken, exhausted, or silent, joy becomes a refusal to shrink, a refusal to be defined by pain, a refusal to let trauma be the only story attached to your name. Black joy says, I know what I've been through and I still choose to rise. That's not softness, that's not naivety, that's power. And when you have that power, there's a lot of things you can do with that power, right? Let me tell you. And see, a lot of people think when they see black people have joy, now it's, black fatigue. So black people having joy and being proud of a lot of things and a lot of accomplishments, that's black fatigue. When you see black people crossing the stage at graduations and they're doing a little happy dance, they're giving praises unto God because He brought them to this point. You don't know what struggles they had to go through. You don't know what they had to go through to get to that point, is being on that stage, receiving their diploma or receiving their degree, whether it's a bachelor's, associate, master's, or doctorate. You don't know what that person had to go through to get to that point. And when I'm looking at everybody on social media, when I see my people, when I see them happy and everything, it makes me happy because I know how it feels. I know how it feels to be going through a lot. I do. When you are sitting up here, when you have been through things in your life, you just gotta give God praise. You gotta have joy. You gotta just be happy because a lot of things, a lot of shit goes on in your life. And sometimes you just get sick of it. But you hold out and you hold on. And God brought you to that point of your life where you are walking across a stage, where you are sitting up here receiving your diploma, your degree. You done sat there and graduated high school. You done graduated college. Sometimes you are the first in your family to graduate high school, or you're the first in your family to graduate college. you're a first generation college student or first generation high school student. You are a first generation that did that. This is what your parents, they might, things might have happened where they could not have graduated high school or they could not have graduated college. Who knows what happens? But sometimes these parents work their butts off to get you to that point. And when I tell you they did that, they got you to that point. They helped you to get to that point. That's just, it's just beautiful. And I don't understand a lot of people when they get mad at black people for having joy. Like why? Like why are you upset? Why are you upset? Because we have joy. And the thing that gets complicated is the world loves black joy when it's entertaining, when it's packaged, when it's profitable. But black joy without context becomes a costume, a performance, a distraction. This episode is about reclaiming joy as something deeper, something rooted in truth, not optics. Because our joy is not for show, it's just for us. And you know what? Let's think about the things that bring us joy. Family gatherings, inside jokes, music that feels like home, dancing for no reason, creating something out of nothing, laughing until your stomach hurts, being surrounded by people who get you without explanation. None of that comes from systems. None of that comes from institutions. None of that comes from the world that tried to break us. We built the joy ourselves. We protected it. We passed it down. That's why it's revolutionary, because it's ours. And I tell you, I love a good family gathering. I love a good family gathering, okay? And the thing is with that, sometimes you have these family reunions that you don't want to go to. Sometimes you do. And then sometimes you're not always able to go to a family reunion because it's somewhere where you're not able to go or whatever. But then you always have another type of family gathering where you're able to go and everything. You still see some of your family and everything. And it's just a time where you could just sit up here and have a good time. You could kick back, talk with your family, talk with your cousins, talk with everybody. And you're just having a good time. Now, not saying all the time is gonna be a good time. Not saying that there's not gonna be any drama, because look, we know it's a family reunion. Somewhere somehow, drama's gonna get started, and then a fight may break out. I don't know, but for the most part, family gatherings are good. They're good. Joy doesn't erase pain. It doesn't pretend trauma didn't happen. It doesn't ignore the reality of being black in this world. But joy gives us space to breathe, to remember that we are more than what hurt us. Joy is how we heal in real time. Okay? Joy is how we stay human. Joy is how we stay whole. I think without joy, I don't know where the black community would be if we did not have the joy. If we did not have the mindset of finding the light in the darkness. Because when you think about our history, you think about the things that they're trying to do, you think about what this world is trying to do, what America's trying to do to black people, where they're trying to silence black voices, where they're trying to stop black people from voting. Because recently they just passed this new voter maps, new vote something dealing with the voting. And it's like, seriously, why now is it a problem? Is it because black people are voting too much? We show up and show out when it comes to voting. Well, we want to see real change happen. A lot of y'all want to stay back. We want to see change. And one thing I always say, whenever election time comes around, Stop just focusing on the presidential election. Focus on your local elections, the midterms, all these other elections. Focus on those too, especially the local and the midterms and the primary elections, because that's what the real power is. Yes, we know the president. We know the president has the power. Yeah, they signed the laws and everything, but let's go back to social studies class where we learned about the three branches of government: executive, legislative, judicial. Let's think about those for a minute. And I say, when I tell people you need to start voting, just stop listening to other people when they say, oh, your vote doesn't matter, your vote doesn't count, or it's not going to change anything. That's a bunch of bullshit. It really is a bunch of bullshit. Because people have this mindset of, oh, nothing's going to change. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Oh, my vote doesn't matter, or my vote doesn't count. Because people tell you that. You listen to other people, you get it in your head, and now all of a sudden now it's, oh yeah, my vote doesn't matter. I don't have to vote. It's not going to count in that way. It ain't nothing's going to change. And that's very idiotic. And it's very dumb. I'm sick and tired of hearing people say that. I'm sick and tired of hearing people spew that rhetoric. This is why we can never be on sometimes we can never be on the same page, because things like this, we don't always stick together when things need to happen and things need to go down. That's all. Black joy today looks like choosing peace, setting boundaries, celebrating your wins, loving loudly, resting without guilt, laughing without apology, being soft in a world that expects you to be hard, being yourself without shrinking. Joy is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of itself. Black joy is revolutionary because it's intentional, because it's inherited, because it's ours, because it's the one thing the world can take, no matter how hard it tried. And if you don't hear anything else from this episode, hear this. Your joy is not random. Your joy is not small. Your joy is not accidental. Your joy is resistance. Your joy is power. Your joy is proof.